I'll be going over the third shot drive at the 4.5 plus level. So at the 4.5 plus level, we're looking to get quite a bit of power from our drive and keep it low to the level of the net so that if it's let go, it'll stay in, but it's creating an offensive advantage for you. It should give you the option of dropping the fifth ball or closing in off of your drive to look for an offensive ball, or your partner also closing in to look for something that they can poach. So first of all, in terms of placement, going at your opponent's body is good. Going through the middle is often good, but a primary place that we like to aim for at this level is our opponent's right hip if they're a righty, because this is the most awkward spot to defend, particularly against drives. So that should be a spot that we're aiming for pretty often. Now also in terms of placement, against similar level players on the 4.5 plus level, going cross court is often going to be bad because it's very easy to take a ball coming from cross court and ripping it down to your partner's line where they may not be expecting that kind of pace, and it's just very easy to take a backhand at from that cross court angle and hit it with some authority back down the line. So cross court we generally want to stay away from. Middle or the person down the line at their right hip are going to be your go-tos. I often find that the closer the match is, particularly when your opponents get tight, the better the middle drive gets, because when players get tight, they often don't communicate as well, so you'll find that either neither player takes it or they both try to take it. So I really like the middle drive, especially at tight moments. Another reason why we don't hit the drive cross court often is because your opponents are going to have more time to reply to it, and this is going to matter a lot at this level when just fractions of seconds make a lot of difference. Next, it's very important that we get some topspin on our drives, because this is going to keep the drives down and they're going to dive so that you can hit it even harder and keep it within the court and make it more difficult for our opponents to handle. Got him. Another good thing to bear in mind is that if the returner is a little bit late to come in, or they don't move in very well, or not all the way to the kitchen line, the line can then be a good spot to go, simply because if you can get it behind their backhand, it's going to be difficult for them to generate power, and they're going to often pop the ball up. This is especially true the shorter you are in the court. So if you get a return about here in the court, mid-court, this is another great time to go down the line rather than your other spots, simply because supplying power to your opponent's backhand is going to be tough for them to recover from, and you'll often get a pop-up that you can close on. So you want to bear in mind when you're thinking about, do I want to stay back and drop this next ball, or do I want to close on my drive, depending on where you're at in the court. So the closer you are in, the more often you want to close with that ball. The deeper you are, the more likely you're going to be to drive and then drop the next one. One last thing is that at the 4.5 plus level, you're going to see a decent amount of stacking with players, which of course is when they're running on a return from their normal position to cross court. Now when it's cross court, they're going to have more area to cover and get to, so they may be a little late getting there, and that is another time where the drive can be really good to use, especially down that line, because that's going to be the most open area. And especially in this case, you don't actually need to hit it quite as hard. It's more important that you place it near the line and get it low, because your opponents, once they have to hit up and are a little bit late on it, it's going to be a great setup for your next attacking ball. A good reason to use a drive and then a drop at this level is especially against opponents that have a nice sliced return with a lot of backspin, which is fairly common at this level. It's going to be more difficult to drop that ball, but if you drive it and then receive a volley in return, that volley is going to have a lot less spin than the original return had. So bear in mind that when you get that heavy slice return, if you just hit one drive and then look for a volley, that next one is going to be a lot easier to drop than the former one. And there you have the third shot drive at the 4.5 plus level.